Hello and welcome to Thursday Lines. I'm your host, Luke O'Brien, aka OB. Thursday Lines is brought to you by Little Birdie TV and topsport.com.au, punting form and comics lounge for all your essentials in life. As we say, welcome to MG. Big week in AFL again, but we'll say welcome to you quickly before we go to the big State of Origin doyen over there in Orange.
Yes, we've got to make way for the hot topic of last night's game. Yeah, plenty we'll unpack shortly in the AFL. But yeah, plenty of upsets going on, a bit of chaos at the tribunal, one of your favourite topics, but plenty of upsets. Bookie's had a big week.
We'll say welcome to Toprope. Hopefully he's resurfaced after his big Maroons victory. Hopefully he's got a Maroon jersey on, but we say welcome to you, Toprope.
Thanks very much, lads. Yeah, dusty and disappointed today. Got the cash, but more frustration with idiotic coaching decisions that started at the selection table a few weeks ago and continued on until the final whistle last night.
Well, let's unpack it a bit. 26-18 in favour of Queensland over there at Adelaide Oval. They scored 2 tries with only 12 men on the park, which Channel 9 did miss the sin binning, so that was great coverage. But what did you take out of it? What were your main issues with the New South Wales side?
Yeah, well, with the Blues side, I thought that the attack was clunky from the get-go. I think they've really got to look at redoing the half round. I know Nathan Cleary is kind of viewed as completely untouchable, and so does James Tedeschi. But Cleary plays like he's got a tuxedo on, does not get involved in any of the tough stuff. But you need to be able to perform off the back foot as well as the front foot. I thought it was very poor. Luai was never going to work. Luai has never worked in Origin. And it was disgraceful that he was picked again ahead of Hines. The Hines issue, and Fittler failed to make a decision with Nico Hines, caused all kinds of trouble. Everyone who knew anything about football knew that Fittler would not know how to use Hines from the bench. And he failed to make a hard decision to either pick Luai or Hines, came back to bite him in the arse because Hines ended up going on with 12 minutes to go when Kontravojevic was concussed. And rather than play a back row who's defensively used to defend, used to kind of a very similar role to the centre. So could have played Hudson Young, Liam Martin, Cameron Murray, any number of players. It was Nico Hines who's never played in the centres at any serious level. It's a 12-man side, gets absolutely stood up by Cameron Munster. They get an extra man. Hamiso Tabuai for those scores. So, horrible there. The use of Payne Huss and Pangai. Like, why is Pangai in the team? Yeah, a stupid offload cost the Blues a try again. Huss was barely used. It certainly wasn't used in the role that he has dominated with for Brisbane for a long, long time. Yeah, Tedeschi had the worst game he's had. He's got enough runs on the board to probably deserve another chance, but the rope's getting a lot shorter than it had to be. Yeah, the issues started weeks ago, and it all came to fruition last night.
That's all we've got time for, listeners. We'll be back next week. On a serious note as well, Ruben Cotter, man of the match. I think Munster was a bit stiff. What price would have Cotter jumped as man of the match?
Yeah, 50s or 60s. He was a big price. And to be honest, usually in Origin kind of gets to the second half, you usually see a clear-cut favourite in betting. We kind of didn't get that even with 20 minutes to go. I think it was like $6 a field. So, bit of a surprise. Also, used to kind of get these ones bob up in Origin, the Ruben Cotters. We used to kind of give them to some maybe more random players. But the last 11 Origins, I think 10 have gone to either fullbacks, 5/8s, or halfbacks. So, bit of a shock there. And, to be honest, Munster was outstanding. He set up the try that put him in front and scored the try that set up the game. So, I thought he was desperately lucky, Munster, but kind of over.
And also, just on the Channel 9 coverage, is Andrew Johns. Is he? He just mumbles through words, and is he sweet?
Don't know. He was lucky enough to be at a pub last night, so not easy to hear, which is a real blessing when you're watching a Channel 9 game because you don't want to hear either. It's the most unprofessional broadcast of any sporting event in the world.
It was a hard watch.
I missed the sin bin completely.
It's a completely hard watch.
Missed the sin bin. Only turned the game, and then the commentators were asking each other in the commentary box, what was the sin bin for? What are these blokes doing?
And that's the rubbish. I don't know if you get this in the AFL, but that's the rubbish old school mentality that just turns viewers off watching. It's like a kid at school who pretends not to be as smart as he is, thinking it's cool. Like, do your work, put the preparation. People want to be They want to be entertaining and informed. And the channel coverage is absolutely disgraceful. But the sad part is when Fittler gets fired at the end of the series, and he will, Andrew Johns will be the $1.10 favourite to take over as Blues coach.
They're so pro New South Wales. Even when the try was held up, I think it was the second one, and they were just declaring it as a try, and there was no footage that actually showed it touching the grass, yet all the commentators, except I think whoever Queensland was a Fatty Vorton or something there saying it wasn't a try, but it's so pro one team. They need to be balanced as well, I find.
Absolutely.
Well, the fact they encourage that parochialism as well by getting Darren Lockyer to wear the maroon jersey, you get wear the maroon shirt, Paul Gallen to wear the blue, it's a terrible approach to coverage of it, and it gets nothing out of hearing for a whinge and Carolina. Whether that was a try or not is irrelevant. Once it was set up no try, you couldn't give it a try. There was no vision of it being a try. So if you'd set it up a try, there'd be no vision to overturn it either. So I fail to understand the process is utterly ridiculous.
Absolutely. Game 2, Wednesday, the 21st of June at Suncorp, so the Queenslanders could wrap it up at home. But early tip for Game 2 there, Toprope?
Queensland morals. He won't make the hard decisions. He will not make the hard decisions. But what I'll be interested to see is, will Queensland start favourites for the first time in the Brad Fittler era? It's astonishing. In the 16 games Fittler's coached the Blues, they've been favourites 16 times, 8-8. Incredibly bad performance.
I see the early market they've posted Queensland as -3.5, so that may change. Obviously, there's a lot of water going to the bridge the next couple of weeks, but yes, interesting.
We might have to take the podcast up there, I think, up to Claxton Street and have a bit of a look. Maybe that's the next thing on our agenda. But
get Toprope in a Maroons jersey.
Absolutely.
If you get me up to Suncorp, I might even do that for you, MJ.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. As we get to, we'll have a look at the scores for the AFL for round 11. MG, you've got a little bit to unpack here.
Yes, it was. I tell you what, I think the bookies are still counting at OB. It was an astonishing week. Very tough for punters overall. A lot of outsiders winning, and unfortunately, a lot of the games, you could almost make a case for 6 of them this week. The sides lost through poor kicking, the accuracy, what it comes down to. And I know we've touched on this. We don't have the time, unfortunately, on this podcast to go into too much in depth with it, but some crazy bad kicking this week through a lot of games, and you can see just overall the results there, which we'll go through. But a lot of 1 to 3 goal results there, and a lot of them could have been changed easily by the accuracy. So from the top, we've had Sydney again, a lot of money for Carlton. We've harped on this probably for the best part of 4 to 6 weeks now. The market, the modelers, everyone just loves Carlton. They keep putting their money in. I don't know where they keep getting it from, and they keep letting them down. We've already seen early signs in round 12 Friday night, which we'll go through shortly against Melbourne. They've been backed early again. But, all the money for Carlton. Unfortunately, they only kicked 6 goals, 15, disgraceful. Their 2 keys, Curnow and Mackay, kicked 1-6 between them. So that's just an example of the bad kicking. Sydney, it was an average game. You were there, OB, so you weren't that impressed with the standard of the game, and poor showing by Carlton. They got a lot of problems on and off the field at the moment. Hawthorn, big upset, beating the Saints. OB's Hawks. He's back on the bandwagon. I see he's wearing the scarf into the office.
Flick Ross.
And Hawthorn, it was an amazing win because they were kicking poorly as well to 3/4 time. An amazing last quarter, very poor by St Kilda to get the win there. Melbourne get beaten at home to Fremantle. Again, bit of accuracy kicking by Fremantle, not so much by Melbourne. Close result there, 7 points. Big win for Freo. They've definitely turned their season around. Big upset again, the Giants. They seem to own Geelong now. I think it's the 3rd time in a row now they've gone down to GMHBA Stadium and got the victory. Again, Geelong were all over them in the last quarter, 4 goals, 5-4 straight, and you can see it was a 7-point margin there. Gold Coast up in Darwin, very close match throughout. Got the chocolates again. Again, the Bulldogs just bit inaccuracy kicking. Hugo Hagen actually missed 2 as well. It doesn't go into that report, but good win by the Gold Coast, and they're looking to make it 2 out of 2 this week when they play in Darwin. Essendon just got the job against West Coast. West Coast is just, going terrible, and Essendon probably didn't put the foot down as much as they could have, but 50-point win, you can't complain. Port Adelaide, one of the matches of the round, got the job. Richmond are trying hard. They just can't get the wins on the board, unfortunately. Poor kicking again. They had 3 goals, 10 to half time, so that was their damage done, and Port Adelaide get another win. They're on a roll, continues. Another team that's on a roll is Collingwood. They just got the job done against Kangaroos. they kind of got up real big early and then just put the cue in the rack to cruise home by 35. And match of the round, Adelaide get the job done again at home. As you probably a 3-goal better side at home, 2 away. Got the job done against a terrible Brisbane who kicked 1 goal 9 in the third quarter. So that accounted for their loss. They lost by just under 3 goals. So, yeah, plenty of upsets, and the bookies are still counting it.
As we have a look at the round 11 stats, just 3 of 9 favourites covered the line, 2 of 9 the over total, 3 of 9 the home team, 4 of 9. So not happy reading there for the punters. And the season stats, they just keep on rolling on. The favourites, 62 out of 99 at 63%. Probably the pick of them cover the line at 45%. The over total, 52%. The home team bang on 50% at this stage. As we look at the NRL scores for round 13, they're top rope. Obviously a shortened round due to Origin duties.
Yeah, we missing all the Origin players as well, but we had the 5 games last week. Dolphins did a job on the Dragons, 26-12, got the money there. A much better Cowboys held on for the cover against the Eels, 24-16. Eels ran away at the second half, but Cowboys played much better than the week where they got flogged by the Tigers. Warriors very disappointing in front of a raucous/disgraceful crowd. The game was stopped like 6-7 times for fans running onto the field. So, classic New Zealand right there. Broncos 26, Warriors 22. Raiders Rabbitohs game on the weekend for sure, 33-36. Scary incident there. Corey Howell of Naira had a fit on the field, so there was some concerns about, some rightful concerns about him. The game was held up for quite a while there. It's good news is he does appear to be all on the mend there, so great news for him. But the Raiders really dug deep in there, 33-26 in a game that the Bunnies probably in the second half thought they were going to win. So really good for yourself, the Raiders. And Newcastle knocked off Manly 28-18 in a game that could be considered the opposite of the ones up before. Completely horrific.
You like this top rope? Just a quick one for you. The Raiders were staying at the hotel I was staying at, and Jack Whiten came out of the lift, and I don't recognise too many rugby league players. I know Jack, and these 2 6-year-old or 8-year-old kids asked him for a photo. Next minute, this 40-year-old male just struts up to him, and he thought it was Christmas. He goes, "Yeah, no worries, bro. I'll have a photo." And we had a gosh chat. So he was a terrific fella, and if looking forward to getting him in the red and green, which I did tell him as well. So, we had a nice chat, and he was a terrific fella. So
they're good, anyway, they're good folks from out Orange Way, OB. So
he's an Orange man, is he?
He's an Orange boy, so.
Oh, I would have, had I known, we would have talked for hours. But he was it was very funny. He had a good laugh when a 40-year-old wanted a photo with him, so that was good. If you look at the round 13 stats, 3 of 5 favourites. Covered the line 1 of 5, the over total 3 of 5, and the home team 3 of 5. So mixed bag there in the season. Once again, the favourites 62 out of 101 at 61%. Covered the line 44%, and the over total 47%. So still the favourites in the home team there, top rope.
Yeah, there are. But if there's one angle you want to be playing best, sometimes that you want to be backing outsiders. So. At the start, so they're covering the lines just too big at the moment.
As we look at the global wrap for the week now, I don't know if anyone saw the IPL final, but this was an absolute cracker. It was played over 2 days. They went into the reserve day. I think it finished about 1:35 a.m. in the morning over there in India. Top rope, MG, you're all over it.
Yeah, we had to take 2. We all set up for the final and then had to cool the jets for a bit. Yeah, but the Super Kings, what a win. For those who missed it, they needed 10 off the last 2 balls to win, led by Dhoni, and Jadeja hits a 6 and then hits a 4 to win it. So it was crazy scenes. What a finish of the IPL. And they won their 5th title, beating the Titans.
They did very well. MS Dhoni he's 42 next month and he's going on for 1 more year. NBA playoffs continue as well. Just a reminder to go to topsport.com.au for your NBA odds. The Nuggets $1.25, the Heat $4. We got a tip there, top rope or MG?
The Nuggets are going to absolutely stop them. I think heavy favourites have had a lot of rest, but game 1. If you're having a bet, I think the over. The number is a little too small. 10-1, the over wing, and they just play a winning team. So Lodger.
Sorry, that starts tomorrow, Friday, 10:30 a.m. and the Nuggets are 8.5-point favourites there, and the total's 219. So Toprope's suggesting high-scoring game over the 219.
Jamal and Nikola Jokic should get it done. NHL playoffs, the Stanley Cup's getting down to the business end. It's the Vegas Knights, $1.74, and Florida at 2.10. That starts Sunday at 10 a.m. I don't know if there's any longer postseason than the Stanley Cup. It just keeps dragging on. No wonder they grow beards the size of something I won't say on air. But so they that keeps on keeping on. And also the tennis, the French Open, continues as we look at the odds. Carlos Alcaraz is at 245, Djokovic 299, something you get at Safeway. Rune at 975, Sinner $10. And then Ruud, Tsitsipas, Zverev, Rublev, and Fritz round out the rest. Anything doing there in the men? As we look at the women quickly as well, Swiatek $1.92. She's on special. We've got Mertens at $3.95, Sabalenka $5.30, Robakina at $8.50, and then Jabeur, Pegula, Mukova, and the rest in double figures. Anything doing there, MG? You're a big tennis fan.
Yeah, I think, it's hard to go past the two favourites in the men's. They seem to be clearly 1 and 2 going through. So let's see how quickly it gets out there. There's not too much value, I wouldn't have thought, going outside. Favourite looks like it's his to lose, really, with no Nadal rocking up this year, unfortunately. And, I'm not one for really going into the favourites for the women's. I think Swiatek's probably wait and see. I don't think you need to jump into her too early at the 192. Probably the best player, but the females have got, extraordinary record over the last probably 5 or 6 years now of having different winners all throughout the majors. So they don't have big records of having multiple winners. So, I think she's probably a little short at this stage.
Okay, but right now it's time for Thursday Lines, brought to you by topsport.com.au, family owned and operated for 35 years. Bet with the bookie you can trust. Bet with topsport.com.au as we look at the AFL Premiership prices thanks to TopSport. And the Magpies 325, the Lions in a 480 in Melbourne have drifted. They're probably the two big ones, and the Cats at $12. If you like them, there's plenty of value around there, and the Power into $6.75. So the big four have sort of been decimated a little bit. MG.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, since you've taken a week off, it's been a bit of a shake-up with a few seeds struggling, and I just think Collingwood with their draw at the moment, they've obviously shortened up the hardest because I think they're going to be pretty solid favourites to win the minor premiership. But I'm still pretty happy with the Brisbane ticket at the start of the year. So at the $758 in the 480, so they're just ticking along nicely, even though they didn't get the win over Adelaide. But Port right on the hot of their heels now. They're obviously on a 8-game winning streak.
And a good week for the AFL Stings as well, as we 6-3 on the weekend, 21.5 units bets. The result was plus 7.14 and the profit on turnover plus 33.2%. If you don't mind, MG, you are back.
Yeah, good week. Lucky most of the action was centred around the totals and not the lines, with the bookies absolutely stripping the punters out. But good solid week after getting most of it back from the week before, and was able to land the middle in the Darwin game, the Gold Coast Bulldogs on the weekend. So it was far too high to start with, and they ended up moving 18 points to the under, went from 171 to 153, and it got too low, and then we backed the over. So strange for a middle. It was never in doubt of missing. So, it's a good result. And, the totals were very good. I only missed one for the week.
Beautiful. As we look at the NRL Premiership prices for you, Toprope, it's the Panthers still at $3.60, the Bunnies at $4.40. Storm and Broncos are next in the betting, and then the Sharks are at $9, the only other team in single figures. And then it's the Roosters, Eels, Raiders, and the Finns up. Any main movers there?
Yeah, no real movement. Obviously, most of the stars were missing last week. Only 5 games, not a lot of movement there. Broncos with the upset, probably shortened just a half point there. But, if I was jumping on one of those, it'd probably be the Storm at this stage. But, nothing to get too excited about.
As we look at the GGOA package, 2 of 3 on the weekend, 8.5 units bets, plus 3.04 on the profit on turnover, 35.76. So he's back in the positive. He's the top rope for the season as well. So just a reminder, if you haven't signed up for GGOA or the AFL Stings in a little bit live shop, then you're not a serious punter. But a bit of form turning around there as well, top rope.
Yeah, back in the back was a pretty quiet week with so many aspects. Managed to get the nose in front, which is nice. So, we'll have seven games this weekend, so we'll certainly be having a crash.
Beautiful. That's what we like to hear as we look at the Friday night game in the AFL MG. It's the Demons and the Blues doing battle at the MCG. The D's $1.34, Carlton $3.10, the line minus 18.5, over under 162.5. Carlton have still got some fans, but I don't know why.
They've still got some cash, which is amazing to figure out. But yeah, 4th v 13th on the ladder to kick us off. Both coming off semi-losing streaks now. Melbourne have lost their last 2 and Carlton have lost last 4 and last 6 out of 7. So they've been a good team to oppose the last month. Have been enjoying the results of the Blues. Unfortunately, the Blue Baggers, they love to get on the radio and talk trash about their own team. But in this matchup, Melbourne have dominated. They've won their last 7 head-to-head against Carlton. I think that'll continue. They get Hunter back in. I know they're still missing Oliver. Petty's obviously a big loss as well, but just Carlton, their accuracy for goals killing them. They've kicked 24 goals, 41 in the last 3 weeks. They've lost all of them by 20 to 28, so they're not even really in the game. So, yeah, there'll be money. So you can sit and wait in this one with Melbourne. They'll continue to trend to Carlton. It's already come down 2 points from about 19-20. Now the line's 17-18, around that way. There'll be no money for Melbourne as they go in, and I just sit and wait. If you like Melbourne, I'm pretty keen. By the time that match comes around, the play here is probably more for the under. 9 of the last 12 have gone under, and they've got a very low average, these two teams, of 157. So they posted an opening market of 165. It's already down to 162. I think that trend will continue, and I think for a Friday night game, the under's the play here in this game.
The Friday night game in the NRL sees the West Tigers and the Canberra Raiders do battle. The Tigers $2, the Raiders $1.80, the line 1.5, over under 43.5. What's doing here, Toprope?
I'm loath to throw out the M word when it comes to the Tigers, but I think the Tigers are absolute morales.
Morales.
Here we go.
Obviously reduced stake because it is the West Tigers. So there's absolutely no way they should be an underdog at home this week. Canberra have a great record against them. They've won 5 straight, 9 out of 10. But the Tigers, they've won 3 of their last 4. Only loss was against South. Probably should have covered that one. They've covered 5 of their last 6 as an underdog, 4 of the last 5 in New South Wales. And notable underdogs of scoring 50 plus, 21-9 against the spread, of scoring 60 plus, 3-0 against the spread. The Raiders covered 16 of 49 as a favourite, 7 of 27 as a road favourite. And then they've arrogantly gone and rested Jared Croker so he plays 300th game in Canberra next week. Utter stupidity. That's the kind of stuff you'd see in the AFL, not in rugby league. It's, chips in Tigers this week. Chips in the Tigers.
Oh, God, I've just tuned out. I just close the eyes when Toprope starts reeling off the stats. But it does worry me when he says chips in the Tigers, but that's all right. We'll keep our powder dry and see how that all goes. But, beautiful. I like when you get into the numbers. The AFL Saturday night sees the Bulldogs $1.63, the Cats $2.20, the line minus 7.5, over under 165.5. Oh, this is a big game for the Cats. Big game.
Yes, they've lost 3 in a row now, the Cats. So they've had an unusual. They lost their first 3, then they had a winning streak, and now they've lost their last 3. So not sure where the Cats are at. Even though the Bulldogs did lose last week, coming off their Darwin trip, they had won 5 straight before that. So I think the market's probably about right here. A bit of strength here for the Bulldogs, and markets move slightly their way. I just think this match is defense against offense. The Bulldogs are averaging 77 points per game, and the Cats are at 99. So who gets on their terms largely? And I want to be with the defensive side here. So I shade the Bulldogs, but I think the market's at the right price. In the total side of it, the total is heading up, which I think is in the right direction. Open 163, it's at 65. I think you can get closer to 170 here. Geelong's got an unbelievable record head-to-head. They've won 13 of the last 15 games against the Bulldogs, so that's why I'm just going to stay out of the line just for that factor. They've won their last 4 against the Bulldogs, so they do have a very good record. Dangerfield's going to be the key, whether he does play or not. I think that'll be a late decision. I don't know. I think they probably don't want to play him, and I know Scott come out and he said we're not dictated by it, but geez, they need this win, the Cats. So I think he'll be a late decision in. Bulldogs get back Treloar, but Radaglia is a big loss for Geelong as well. So it's not a game I'm keen to watch, but I'm going to probably stay out. But, yeah, if you want to have a bet, the over total, I think there'll be points in this game.
Sharks and the Broncos do battle on Saturday night in the NRL. The Sharks $1.57, the Broncos $2.40, the line -4.5, over under 42.5. Nico Hines will be fresh after playing 12.5 minutes. So that all bodes well for the Sharks. Top rope.
Yeah, hopefully Craig Fitzgibbon says to play him in the position he knows where to play, not put him in right centre. Hard game. There's 5 Broncos surfed to back up from Origin. Plays on Reece Walsh. Yeah, pretty physical for them last night. So Cobber had the head injury, so we're probably not going to see all of those guys go again. Payne Hush also pretty fresh, though, to be fair. Brad Fittler using that poorly. He won't know what hit him playing 40 minutes. Tough game. Don't have a strong view to the side. Broncos have won 8 of the last 10, covered 7 of 10 against the Sharks. Having a bet here, probably the over. The over is 30-20 when the Sharks are favourites. 16-7 when the Broncos are another $4 or more away from Suncorp. So, yeah, leading the over here, but not a lot of confidence this one.
The Giants and the Tigers do battle in the early game on Sunday. It's the Giants at $1.71, the Tigers $2.06, the line -2.5, over under 165.5. Wasn't here last week to talk about Andrew McQualter as the interim Richmond coach. Terrific fella. One of life's really good people. So,
what club does he come out of?
The Saints. Oh, yeah, mighty Saints. But no, a terrific person, Minnie. So hopefully he goes well.
Well, I hope he has a better game this than he did the first game, because they were average. It is a tough game to get involved in here. GWS, unbelievable win going down to the Cattery and getting that done last week. So the current form, you could probably sway their way. The market's been no movement. They come up with the Giants -2. It's still the same. I don't think there's going to be a lot of betting in this game. I just think, Richmond, Scooty will be happy I've finally fallen off the Tigers. I think they're completely gone. They've lost 7 out of the last 9. The change of coaching and everything, I just can't come into them at all. I just think Giants have been very inconsistent. The thing I do like about the Giants, obviously coming off the win last week against Geelong, they will get Himmelberg and Haynes back, 2 massive ins for them, which means they'll only probably be missing Kelly from their best lineup against Richmond at home. They've won their last 5 straight there. So, yeah, I'm not going to play, but I could only not talk you out of the Giants, but I couldn't be with Richmond. I think the total's about right. So it's not a playing game for me, but I guess keen to watch it from a Giants point of view.
Adam Kingsley spent a lot of time at the Tigers, so he'll come to the fore there. So I like the Giants in that one. Okay. The Cowboys and the Storm, 14th versus 5th on Sunday, sees the Cowboys $2.75, the Storm $1.45, the line 6.5, over under 42.5 at that's up in North Queensland. Top rope.
Yeah, typically not all that fast on taking big road favourites during this origin period, but different kettle of fish with the Storm. They've covered 21-9, 21-30 against the spread when favoured by 6.5 or more for win. They are 31-20 against the spread as an interstate favourite. The Cowboys, they've covered 10 of 26 time off a loss. Look, big watch on teams here. Both teams have a few needing to back up, but also the extended bench we saw, Nanai, Tom Lyle, a few others known for the Cowboys. So looking at the Storm now, we'll probably bet them, but we'll wait till a lot closer to game time before getting too involved.
As we whip through the rest of round 14, the Warriors $1.43, the Finns $2.80, the line -7.5, over under 44.5. Top rope.
Yeah, so we're not going to see any of the Dolphin players who played Origin back up. They weren't named in the extended squad. Would have for Tommy Gilbert, he broke a shoulder anyway. Look, I can't believe a lot of this. Of course, it's all after 7.5 after team selections, but the Warriors are awful favourites. Dolphins are just continuing to covered 8 of 12 this year, 6 of 8 as underdog of 4 or more. Fins up, baby.
Fins up, love it. Titans $2.90, Rabbitohs $1.41, the line 7.5, over under 47.5.
Yeah, betting the minus, betting the over here. No Latrell, no worries. South's still very, very good record. They've covered 18 of 28 in the state. They've covered 18 of 30 off a loss. The Titans, they've covered just 16 of the last 39 against the top 8 team. They're a mentally very fragile side. I think South have tailed off a little bit the last few weeks, but I think they'll be kind of pretty keen to make a statement here. Always very good in daytime kind of twilight conditions. So chips in the bonus here.
Roosters and the Bulldogs on Sunday sees the Roosters $1.28, the Bulldogs $3.70 to line, minus 10.5, over under 41.5.
I can't make a super compelling case for the Bulldogs, but I can sure make a pretty bloody good compelling case to be against the Roosters here. So, the Roosters have covered just one of their last 7 away from Allianz. They've covered just 5 of 17 when favoured by 6.5 or more. Covered just 4 of 13 at Gosford. Covered just 9 of 22 of the day. I cannot get around the Roosters being so heavily favoured. Even the head-to-head matchup, the last 10 matches, 7 have been decided by 8 points or fewer. Bulldogs got enough there. We'll probably see how to cast second to the side. This Roosters team is just not very good. The injuries are starting to mount up. There's no Radley this week. There's no Brandon Smith this week. No idea now. 10.5-point favourites on reputation alone. Got to be with the Bulldogs.
There's one more game for round 14. It's the Panthers $1.19. St George Illawarra $4.70 the line, minus 15.5, over under 42.5.
Yeah, we'll see this line move pretty markedly, I'd say, once it's confirmed which Panthers are backing up. And considering Nathan Cleary played a tuxedo, Joran Luai barely got touched, and there weren't many who did much else, I'd be pretty keen to suspect that the Panthers will continue to play all their players. They've dominated the Saints recently. They've covered 21 of 30 at Penrith Stadium, and in a rare first v last matchup in 2008, we've only had 20 of those. First covers at 60% when they played last. So got to be with the -6.
And a quick tip for the State of Origin women's game that continues tonight. We see the New South Wales women's $1.42 and the Queensland women $2.85. The line minus 6.5, over under 34.5.
Yeah, silly line. New South Wales, again, too short a price favourite. Again, team full of stars, doesn't necessarily become a star team. The last 8 Origins, 6 have been decided by 6 points or fewer. They've got the star fullback, Tamika Upton. She is back.
Anytime.
They got the halves pairing for the Gillaroos that won the World Cup in such dominant fashion last year. I am chips in the Maroons for the second straight night.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Tamika Upton, anytime try scorer. Morale.
$3 available.
Oh, thank you. Like feeding hay to a dead horse, that is. Don't worry about that. As we whip through the rest of the AFL round 12, the Power $1.13, the Hawks $5.50, the line minus 37.5, over under 168.5. The Hawks going for 3 in a row. Can't rule them out here, MG.
You can. OB, you definitely can. Port have won 8 in a row. So that trumps them, yeah. Second v 16th on the ladder. The markets really haven't moved here too much. I can't really come into either. Hawthorn losing their captain Sicily is going to be a huge loss for them. So especially down the back, I just think Port might get a few of their forwards back, and if they're in a mood, they could put up a score there. They do have a tremendous history, Port, of beating up on the weak as well. So they love the downhill skiing. So the 37 may not hold, but geez, it's hard to tip into that. So it's a watch and see. I'm going to stay out of this game.
Second game Adelaide Oval in about 4 days. So more interesting to see how the surface holds up. The Eagles and the Pies do battle at Optus Stadium on Saturday. The Eagles $13, the Pies $1.01. The line 57.5. Over under 171.5. It's all one-way traffic.
Yes, it's not a good look for the AFL having this, but this is a definition of a mismatch. 18th v 1st. West Coast have won 1 for the year and Collingwood have lost 1. So West Coast have lost 9 straight and Collingwood have won 7 straight. West Coast have lost 34 of 37 games and they've lost all 9 in a row by over 40 points. So given up trying to make a case for them. Not that I was really making a case for them at the start of the year. This is tough to come into. The line has moved sharply to West Coast from 64 to 57. If you do like Collingwood, I'd wait, stay out of this match until teams are named, because I'd be stunned,
Agreed.
OB, if they don't rest at least 2, 3, 4 players on this trip to Perth, especially with Melbourne the week after, anyone with niggles and stuff. So even though this line is massive, I think it's not finished and it'll come down. It might start closer to 50 after teams. But yeah, not a match I'm going to get involved in, I wouldn't have thought.
Arguably match of the round sees the Gold Coast Suns $1.80, the Crows $1.95. The line is even and the over-under 160.5. This will be a beauty up there in Darwin.
Yes, second week in a row for the Suns. They've been up there all week, so they're acclimatised. They'll lose nothing on the weather. Adelaide doesn't mind this trip either. It's in the same time zone, everything like that. It's a pick and match. Listen, Laird was suspended. He's obviously got off, so that's huge for Adelaide to come back in. I think Pickham's about right. The market has flip-flopped a little with the Laird being out and then back in. The total's going to be a wait and see here. The conditions are so vital to this total. Last week, it wasn't as slippery. It was what it was expected to be, and they did score above 160. So, I'm just going to wait and see, get a late weather report. But, expect maybe a late bet either way on the total, depending on the weather conditions.
Essendon and North Melbourne round out round 12. The Bombers at $1.17, the Kangaroos $4.80, the line at minus 31.5, over under 172.5.
Yeah, these teams don't like each other. The history, both living out the same part of the world. Essendon have dominated this matchup of late. They've won 8 straight, so hard to go away from them. Kangaroos have only won 2 games for the year, sit 17th on the ladder, lost 9 straight, so hard to come into the Kangaroos. They're not really being competitive as well, and Essendon are sitting 8th at the moment, so they can't afford to drop games to this ilk if they're going to make finals this year. I think they'll roll on. Hard to come into the line. I think the market's about right. And I can't really come into the total. So there's a few games here I'm going to stay out this week, unfortunately, and we've only got 7 matches. So might be a quiet week.
Geez, quiet week for MG. Just a reminder, AFL Stings are still available in the littlebirdie.live shop for $25 a week. And the GGOA, the Toprope specials, are $33 a week in the littlebirdie.live shop for all your NRL betting action. As we say, thank you very much to Toprope up there in wearing his maroon jersey in orange. We say thank you to you once again.
Absolute pleasure. Love being here. In Origin Week, and we'll do it all again next week.
Beautiful. Look forward to it. And MG, thank you. I know you're staying out of a bit of the punting this week, but you'll find something. You'll find something to keep yourself interested at topsport.com.au.
Yeah, Queensland was a good start. It's good to have Origin on a Wednesday night to get the bank rolling, and Toprope's already led us hard into the women's tonight, so we might be a fair way in front before the footy start. Always a good start to the week. Beautiful. And that's a wrap for this week's Thursday Lines. Thanks to MG and Toprope, and thanks to the listeners out there. A reminder, you can follow us on YouTube, find us in the Apple Store, on Spotify, on SoundCloud, wherever you listen to all your good podcasts. Follow at Little Birdie TV on Twitter and Instagram. Remember, all your footy betting action can be found at topsport.com.au. Join us next week and punt well, punt responsibly, and have a great weekend, punt.